Mr. Warrens.
Mr. Wilson.
Hey, episode number 6, my friend. How do you
It's been a
feel?
little bit. It's been a little bit. I think we've been, gosh, we have both had a month, man. It's been mid-February, end of
Yeah.
February since we got our last episode up. We were talking about things that we were going to be packing. I have yet to start packing. I just want to put that
Mm,
out there.
Not a problem at all. Look, even though look, June sounds like it's a long way away, but it's
It is
really
not.
not. It's
It is
not.
March early.
It's not far
Hmm.
away at all. But no, hey, look, yeah, for myself, I've been throwing some things in the corner, in a box in the bag, trying to, as I come across it, going, yeah, I think that might come in handy. And oh yeah, by the way, I am keeping the umbrella here, although I probably should utilize it as shade protection
We're
in
not
some way,
taking the
shape, or
umbrella.
form. But no, we're not taking the
No,
umbrella,
no. It doesn't rain on the golf course.
nor am I taking any rain gear as well. So the bag will be a little light. So, but oh my gosh, no, it has been a minute. In fact, I had the opportunity, I made it up your way, Joe, and you and I
Yeah.
never even saw each other. It was
Didn't even shake hands.
strange. No, it was horrible. And by the way, I can't help but point out the new hat you got on top
Yeah.
of your head there.
There's
That's
merchandise in the wild at the point.
that is absolutely fantastic. I love seeing that. But hey, June's not that far off. I think we need to start thinking about what our trip looks like, where we should go. I know aeration schedules are probably out and about by now for most of the
Well, let me
courses out
stop
there.
you right there first off. Let me just stop you there. We do our cold open and do our little spiel and our little snicker back and forth here.
Yeah.
But it is we are getting to that crunch time. We know where
Mhm.
we're staying. That place has been booked. We were fortunate that we got our airfare booked because we knew the
Yes.
dates we were going and we knew that we already had the place. So
Yes.
we know we're going to be there and we know we have a place to stay. So that is taken care of. We are going to California. Now, what happens while we're there at this point hasn't been planned out yet. That's kind of where we're at. We know we're going to play golf when we're down there. We know the places we kind of want to play and some ideas, but there's a lot of other things.
Mhm.
And it brought us to, or at least brought me to, kind of a serious realization when I got to it because I'm used to East Coast golf, right? I'm used to playing here on the East Coast where we aerate in, August,
Mhm.
October, or we'll aerate again, in the spring usually. It is not the case everywhere in the country. There are different aeration
Yeah.
schedules in different areas based on what's going on with the ground and the seasons and things like that. So we have a serious problem because we're not traveling to California. We're traveling as tourists because we don't live there, but we're not traveling to California as tourists. We are going to be living in La Quinta for a month. We are going to be residents more or less without, applying for residency. We're going to be residents more or less for that month in La Quinta in that area. So we're going to be going about things a little bit different. And one of the things that shocked me when I started to plan out the trip and look at some different things was we have to take into account aeration
Mhm.
and what's going to be going on at some of these golf courses while we're planning. And that was kind of eye opening to me. And it wasn't something I had originally thought about. And luckily, thank goodness I did because we could have got out there and been in a world hurt,
Oh,
not knowing which courses are going to be open or not open.
absolutely. I've been fortunate enough to my wife and I have been fortunate enough to go out there several times over the past multiple years. And the other thing that as someone from the East Coast, not being used to desert golf, there's also, besides the aeration, there's also the overseeding schedule where they will literally scalp down all of the summer grasses down to as far as they can, and they'll do an overseed of some cooler grasses for their snowbird season at that point in time. And having lived there through that, I will tell you, one, if you have asthma, not a good time of the year to go. There's an awful lot of grass in the air, a lot of dust in the air. It gets quite dirty and it's quite nasty. So I'm glad that you and I are not going during that time of the year. I was aware of the fact that there would be aeration being done, unaware of the fact that the schedule has been published, which you'd had to tell me, which you previously told me about. And I'm so glad about that because that will help us tremendously in
Well, you have a
terms of
background in
oh,
turf science and golf course design, so you know a little bit of the science behind this.
mhm,
And I'm obviously a science teacher. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to these things too. So, and I do have a background in educational technology. So obviously AI is getting big, and I've
Mhm,
been utilizing that a lot as I've talked about with you. And it's great for curating and bringing information together. That's what
mhm,
I generally use it from. And if any of my kids are laughing, they're rolling their eyes right now because they've heard me say it millions of times. It's a great tool. It's wrong a lot, but it's a great tool
mhm,
for finding information and bringing that information in one place. So I literally went down a rabbit hole the other day of saying, "Hey, these are the dates we're going to be there. This is the area we're looking at hanging out in. This is the ability we have to be able to drive and do.
mhm.
What's going on? You know, do the golf courses have any aeration schedules out to where, you know, we need to avoid certain courses at certain times? Can we optimize price? Because we're going to be asking the question of, do we want to play in the morning and pay $100 for a greens fee with a cart? Or do we want to pay or play after 12 and only pay maybe 40 to 60 with the cart, but we're going to be playing in 100-degree heat to 110-degree heat. So I kind of went through and did some different things and talked with it and prompted a little bit just to bring that information in. And it was great because it did. It gave me a whole table chart. It showed me what the weekday rates were, the weekend rates were, and I was able to see, you know, the price breaks and things like that. And it pulled it all in one place for me. And then, like I said, we were able to get the aeration schedules. It's been great tool for us, I guess, to say the least, and very eye opening.
Well, yeah, I think it is a great tool, and quite frankly, for yourself, having never been out there, I think you doing some of that homework and legwork is gonna help you know the area a little bit better than what you do, just going into it blind, if you will.
Absolutely.
But no, there's ways to save monies, and again, you have to weigh the consequences of is it worth saving the $90 to play in 110 degrees versus playing in 75 to 85-degree heat early in the morning. For myself, I've done both, I'm of
There's gonna be days we can do it. There's gonna be days when we say, "Yeah, we're
I
not gonna wanna
I
do it."
you look, I tend to agree, and I think a lot of it's gonna be how you and I both feel, because I think you and I both realize, having grown up in, the golfing community, your better golfers typically play earlier in the morning because they keep pace going. I don't wanna be that guy where the ranger's coming out every other hole going, "Guys, pick up. Let's go. Let's keep it moving," so just
You may
saying.
take 100 strokes, but you take them very fast, so I think we'll be okay.
We do play fast golf, I will admit. Ready golf is huge for you and I. Actually, we've never had a problem, in terms of keeping up with the group in front of us. But then again, that was eons ago. But hey, we'll see what happens.
So, again, the big thing here for me was I don't wanna be a tourist when I go.
No.
There are obviously, you know, we're going to Palm Springs. Everyone's heard of Palm Springs.
Mhm.
So, you know, there's things there that, you know, the tourist is going to want to do. Everyone is going to want to go to PGA West and go to the pro shop at National and get the polo and get the flag. We're going to want to do that at some point, probably, but that we don't want that to be the whole trip.
No, no, you don't want to be caught in the tourist loop. Look, hey, look, it's a beautiful area out there, Joe, and
Yeah.
and there's places that I want to take you to. The aerial tram is a must do in terms of things. Is it touristy? Absolutely. Is it a beautiful place to go? Absolutely. And you've never been there, quite frankly. I kind of like it, so we're gonna do it, type of thing. But no, in terms of getting stuck in the tourist loop, it's look, I've been to PGA West. I survived Alcatraz shirt. I have the PGA West La Quinta t-shirts. I have all of that. Quite frankly, probably going to pick them up again. However, that's not where I'm going to be doing the vast majority of my shopping. If I'm looking for a golf shirt, I'm probably going to go to Carl's besides, going to
Pete Carlson's.
yeah, Pete Carlson's is the place. Gonna be going there instead of spending $150 on the polo. I'd rather spend, the $50 as opposed to the 175. But
One of the big things is that I did was, what are some of the places I can go to actually find some information? I mean, it's 2026. Like, I have a phone, I have a computer in my pocket now, but like, what are some of the places I can go? And again, when I started doing some research, obviously we have the PGA West forums. They have members only forums and public
Yes.
forums that we can get into that we can see things. We can go to the different golf course pages, obviously, and get the event calendars. I was using the AI to help me kind of search through those event calendars to find things that were specific to the time frame when we were going to be down there. And then just some different apps like Nextdoor. The local newspapers obviously will have stuff posted that we can go through that you can pull from as well. And that's really where I started kind of the search was just really kind of going through these main pipelines of info and just seeing what was available to us during that time. I really wanted to focus on what was happening during that June timeframe.
So my question to you is going to be: were you surprised that there is as much to do in the desert in the summertime as there is?
Well, it's all about time frame, right? So there's going to be a lot going on after the sun goes down. In that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock time frame
Oh,
before the desert
absolutely.
gets too cooled off. You know that a lot of those events are going to happen after that period of time, or early in the morning. You and I are going to be getting up and having a cup of coffee and running to some of these local coffee shops
Oh,
and
yes.
diners to get food. But once that heat hits, we're either going to be on the golf course that day, or we're probably going to be at the pool or doing something else until it cools down enough to get out and about. And it's just the way it is, right? That's just desert life.
It's desert life. It's all about, outdoor living and desert life. Is it going to be the evening? Is this going to be early mornings? Don't get me wrong, the afternoons are fantastic too, but typically you're going to be poolside, you're going to be enjoying a good book, a good drink, a good view. But definitely in the evening time, I can tell you my wife and I, one of the things that we enjoyed the most is the Thursday evening in downtown Palm Springs. They shut down the main drag and have or the main street, and they have a street fair every Thursday evening. It's free to go to. It's got great vendors, street entertainment. Half the time going to Palm Springs and just walking the street is entertaining in itself. Just watching everyone,
Lots of people
walking
watching.
around. Yeah, I am. It's like walking. It's like going to the airport. You just walk, just people watching. Anyway, it's a wonderful time to have, and that's an evening activity. And it's the morning activities are going to be besides golf. There is a zoo there as well. The living zoo, the desert living zoo, is there as well. I know that it's a place that you would like to go to because of your science background and some of the stuff that you're teaching as well. Which, by the way, I think is a fantastic place. Felicia and I love it there. I will go in a heartbeat. So
Let's do it.
we're definitely going to be doing that. Oh my gosh. The Indio Open Air Market. I keep forgetting about that over in Indio. Oh my God. You talk about street vendors. You talk about taco trucks. My God, it's going to be fantastic. And we're talking, we're not talking about spending a whole bunch of cash. We're talking about we're talking about good food, reasonable prices, and it's fresh. That's the other thing. It's fresh.
As we run down through this, I mean, we've already talked about we're spending, what did you say? It's 3,000 for the rental for the month,
That is
for
correct.
the
Yes,
entire
it's
month.
it's 3.
So 3K for the month, give or take, is what we're looking at. And again, if you get four guys, sleeps plenty for you to take a foursome down
Yeah,
there. We said it's under $1,000 for the place for the month. I mean, that's
it's affordable.
airfares get right. Airfares is going to be what airfare is. It's just going to
Yeah.
depend on timing and when you can get that ticket. When it comes to the golf, though, that's what kind of was interesting to me because of the time frame we're going. We're obviously going to be able to save some money, and that's was kind of the whole point to this in the first place.
Mhm.
When I ran everything through, there's a few events going on. There is the golfing that we're looking at. We're going to be looking at playing 3 to 4 times a week. We're looking at maybe another 1,000 to 1,500,
Mhm.
maybe in golf fees and event fees.
Mhm.
And that's really just the only thing that doesn't include is the rental car and gas
Mhm.
and eating for the week. So I think at the end of the day, it's not something that's incredibly over out of the price range.
Well, I'm taking a look at what we would spend. Let's take a look at some of the golf trips that you and I have been on and some of the
Mhm.
places that we've gone, either together or independently of each
Absolutely.
other. Having living in the Northeast, obviously, Myrtle Beach is one of those destinations that everybody talks about, everybody goes to. June in Myrtle Beach is different than June in the desert, of course.
Absolutely.
It was totally different. For me to spend 1 week in Myrtle Beach or 2 weeks in Myrtle Beach, I'm spending a whole lot more than that. I can assure you, and that's with lodging, that's with food, that's with entertainment, gas, all of that. I know I'm spending more than that 1,000 to 1,500 for golf and entertainment is what
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
calling it. So I know that to be a fact. Let's see. You and we've gone to Pinehurst. I'm trying to
Well, and
think.
let's talk about that trip for a second because we went to Pinehurst again, a very similar
Yeah,
kind of thing that we're doing with the trip to the West Coast. We had the opportunity. I still am teaching. I'm teaching at the time. And two other teacher friends of ours, we had off for President's Day weekend. And
yeah.
obviously you being the big boss, you can do whatever the heck you want. So we
No,
decided, sorry,
you
the
you.
other big boss let you just do whatever you wanted.
Thank you.
Um, okay. So we decided we were going to go down to Pinehurst
Yeah.
for President's Day weekend. Our friend had the hookup. He had a few friends that were members and knew a couple of people with some of the companies down there that run some of the agencies. So we had a decent hookup, but we were able to play 3 rounds of golf.
Mhm.
We played, I think it was Tobacco Road, Midwest. No, yeah, Pine Needles in the
Pine
Mid South,
Needles, Mid
Mid South
South,
Club,
Pine Needles, Mid South, and we played Tobacco
Tobacco
Road.
Road.
I'm trying to
And then
think.
we also played the Cradle a little bit.
Oh, we did play the Cradle a couple of times, if
Mhm.
I remember. For
Yep.
some reason, I thought there was another round. We had another round of golf, and I can't remember where it was.
No, we just took that many swings that it felt like it was another round of golf.
For me, it did. I can tell you that specifically at Tobacco Road. My God. Speaking of world's hardest golf
But
courses, which by the way is actually, hey, again, talking about that whole design thing, Joe. Again, you're talking about a total different
Mhm.
total different era, total different age.
built into the ground around it.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's a wonderful design. If you ever get the chance,
Yes.
if you're ever in the Pinehurst area, I highly, highly, highly recommend Tobacco Road, regardless of what your handicap is. It's a beautiful, beautiful track just to even walk on. And
But that trip, I think we paid somewhere in the ballpark of 2 something or 3 something,
Mhm.
I wanna say, for the trip. Now that was us arriving Friday and leaving Monday morning.
That's correct.
So, we got down Friday, we played the Cradle, hit some balls
Mhm.
Friday night, played golf Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday on the travel back up north, we played the
Mhm.
round of Tobacco Road and headed home. So, again, not a very long trip, played a lot of golf. Price wasn't too extreme, but again, we were only there for a few days.
We were there for a few days, and
And it was the
and
off season.
it was the off season, and the tiring thing about it was again a wonderful trip. I have nothing wrong with it. I don't mind going. I don't mind the driving. However,
No, not at all.
on that last day going home, it's just one of those. Oh God, I played and swung my arm 1,000 times, and Joe hit every bump he could.
Bunker on the first hole.
God, it was horrible. But anyway, we did have fun on the trip. It's just that it's a 7-hour drive home, and
Yeah.
you're
We played a
beat.
lot of golf in a short period of time, and there was a lot of driving, so it was exhausting.
You're
It was
totally
fun,
beat.
great
But
memories, but
it was a blast, and God, I can't wait to get together with those two guys again. Which, by the way, hey, if they are listening, June, my friends, June,
come on out.
you got to. But anyway, where are we going with that, Joe? I can't remember.
So where we're going with that is we spent, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, left on Monday. It was about a 4-day, 3-night deal. And we spent about 300 and some dollars for 3 rounds of golf and lodging
Mhm,
just for that short amount of time. So, if you extend that out, I think the price range we're looking at, and again, that was off season as well. So that was during a time when
mhm.
they're overseeding. It's very playable. I mean, the conditions were
Yeah.
actually very
They
good
were
conditions.
nice, yeah.
It was in the 50s and 60s and it is a little wet. We had a little, mist and
Mm.
dew and some rain at some points, but other than that part of the gamble, I mean, the conditions were very nice, even though it wasn't their prime time of the year. You're going to have
Ab
some trade-off, but the course itself and the golf itself is still very nice.
it was, keeping in mind with the price range that we were at, during that golf trip. That's about where we're looking at, with this
for this
trip,
month. Yeah.
for that entire month. I think that's pretty doable. Where we're going to save the most money is going to be obviously with dining. It's going to be how much dining out are we going to be doing? How much cooking do you feel like doing, and how much preparement do we need to do? And by the way, when you're talking about shopping out there, having been a resident out there for upwards of 2 months at a time. Oh, there's different places there's different grocery stores. You have Vons, you have Ralph's,
So
you
if
have
you let's talk about if I fly okay, so I flew out to PJ West. I'm
Mhm.
staying there for the weekend. I'm obviously probably going to eat out most of the time, but
Yes.
let's say our random foursome goes out for a week. They rented a
Mhm.
place in PGA West. Where are they going to pick up their groceries most likely?
They're probably gonna go to Ralph's is where they're gonna go. That Ralph's is gonna be the closest grocery store. If they're willing to go a little bit further, they can go to Sprouts. Sprouts has an awful lot of, fresh fruits and vegetables. There's also Trader Joe's, which is not that far away. If you're into that type of scenario, if you're, that type of individual. And then there's another place called Vons, which is also relatively close in the La Quinta area as well. It doesn't carry as much in my mind as Ralph's. For those of you who are on the East Coast, if you know what a Wise or a Giant is, then, there you go. It's kind of like a Kroger's, if you will, for the rest of the world.
A Piggly Wiggly?
Piggly Wiggly, of course. Yes, absolutely. But no,
But for
they're
you and they're great, and, like, that is great for that group of folks that's gonna be coming out and,
yes.
again, just spending a week. I need to pick up coffee, I need to pick up maybe a couple odds and ends for that week just to survive that week, and that's it.
You're looking at a dozen eggs, you're looking at, milk, you're looking at, the obvious stuff, and, you're gonna go there maybe twice a week. If you're there for a week, you're gonna go there maybe twice because you're just gonna have to. It's just the way it is. But I think if you're going out there for a week, I think the vast majority of the golfers are gonna go out there. They're gonna probably be more apt to eat in a restaurant than they
Yeah,
would be to cook and prepare a meal. Now, you and I are probably we're apt to do a little bit of both. We're probably more apt to do the cooking at home than we are of
that's
going out
yeah, like, I see us waking up in the morning if it's a
and
morning where
making
we're go if
breakfast. Yeah,
Yeah. If it's a morning where we're going golfing, we might be maybe slapping some coffee in the coffee pot and grabbing some a
correct.
bite to eat on the way. But if we're not golfing that day, yeah, we're gonna wake up, we're gonna make breakfast at the house
Yes,
and those kind of things. We're gonna be making food. I'm hoping we're gonna meet some people along the way that are staying and
I hope
hopefully be
so.
able to entertain at some point or have some people out. But I don't plan on shopping at the grocery store for a lot of things. I plan on because we're going to be out there for the month.
Yes,
I plan on going to the open air market or going to the
yes.
Sunday market down in Palm Springs and getting the fresh produce and things like that straight from the vendors if it's possible.
No, absolutely. In La Quinta, in the Old Town La Quinta, they have, I believe it's a Saturday morning open air market in Old Town La Quinta. And that's where you're going to find that type of stuff at. And they do exist. And oh my
Mhm.
God, wonderful, wonderful folks and good produce as well. Relatively inexpensive too, I might add. But I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead. You started to say something. At least I thought you were doing.
So let's talk about some of the courses we're going to play while we're out there because like I said I did run some of the aeration schedule and there are again if we're talking about being a tourist and going out obviously you're heading to PGA West, you're playing the stadium course, you're going to play a few of the courses in PGA West.
You're probably
um,
gonna play them all, to be quite honest.
yeah,
If you're gonna do it, you might as well do the smorgasbord of them all.
but again that's not necessarily what we want to do the entire
No,
time we're
no,
out
no,
there.
no, no, no,
Actually,
no, no.
they're going to be aerating some of the courses that first week that we're out there.
Yes.
So there are a few tracks that I know you've either played or wanted to play, or a few tracks that I've researched, tracks I researched. One of which is Silver Rock Resort. It's an Arnold Palmer design, and it's
Yes.
literally cut right into the mountains. So,
It's
and there aren't any
beautiful.
houses
No, no.
along the property. That's the sell here, right? Like you're
That's
literally playing
correct.
golf in the mountain.
Yes.
So we're playing there at some point. Like that's a course that we're going to have to get onto and play.
it's one of those must-dos. In fact, it is on my list of must-plays, most definitely. It is gonna be relatively mid-range in terms of cost if I recall. I think it normally always is. I think it's actually operated by the city of La Quinta, if I re as I recall.
The f we're if we play I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop you right there. If we play Silver Rock at the Dawn Patrol pricing with the, card, it's about 115 for us at
That's
the
not
6
bad.
AM tee time.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's not bad,
No,
actually.
not at all.
No, you
Is
and
it
I
something we're gonna wanna do every round we're out there? Absolutely
no, no,
not.
no, no, no.
But to play that course, I'm okay paying that price to go
Oh
play
my
that
gosh,
course
yes. Most
and enjoy it
definitely.
in the morning.
Most definitely. And by the way, I'm taking a look at and for those of you who may be watching along with us, you'll notice that I'm not necessarily looking directly at the camera or Joe because well, obviously we have a little bit of some notes here that I'm taking a look at so I can follow along with everyone. But no, I'm taking a look at some of these other golf courses that are here, Joe, that you have listed. Desert Willow is a beautiful, beautiful place.
It sounds gorgeous.
I've never been there. I've taken a look at the website. Keep in mind, I am a platinum. I'm a platinum ambassador. I'm sorry, ambassador level of Marriott. So I do have a little pool. I can make a phone call to get us onto a golf course. So let's keep that in mind. No, Desert
Indian
Willow,
Wells.
Indian Wells, I have played there. The players course is fantastic. It's one of those nice resort courses that gives you an opportunity for going for it. It gives you those looks of instead of being 220 going across water, you're now 75 to 150 you're going across water. It gives you it's playable, but still gives you that ooh, kind of scares you a little bit. Got to go over water. Can't believe it, but it's reachable, type of
Mhm.
stuff. So it's a wonderful golf course, and one that
Mountain
I'm
Falls
glad it's
came up.
there.
Mountain Falls came up. I haven't heard of it.
I
I don't
don't
know a
know.
lot about it,
I don't
but,
know a whole lot about it.
anything that's gonna drop the temperature 15 degrees, if I have to play an elevation,
I'm
I'm cool
all
with that.
there.
So I wanna learn some more about that course and potentially take that because that sounds like a course that the locals know about that a lot of the tourists don't get to, and that's
Oh
what we're
my
looking for is
gosh.
good golf that
Yes.
we can enjoy that's not gonna kill us. So here we are.
That is absolutely true. And no, that is
And you could
one.
talk about the lights at Indio, right?
Oh my
Did you play the
God.
lights at Indio?
I have played the lights at Indio. In fact, it's a wonderful practice facility and it's owned by the city of Indio, which is fantastic. It's a muni, believe it or not. It's an actual
Mhm.
muni. It's a executive type golf course. There are, it's mostly all par threes. There's some longer par threes, if you will, like shorter par fours, but it's typically a executive pitch and putt. You can play it any time of the day, but most people go at nighttime and they have it. You're playing golf under the lights, and it is.
Can we add that it's a daily fee? It's a
Oh
daily
yes,
fee.
yes, it is a daily fee.
So, I
Yes.
mean, if there's a daily fee option that we could literally just post up for the day and grab some food in Indio and just play
Yes.
golf all day. I mean,
Oh my gosh,
that's
yes, absolutely. And by the way, I'm open to that. They do have a fantastic driving facility, a driving range
mhm,
there, which by the way, I've used before because unless you're a member of one of these resorts, and by the way, if you're going, playing for a week, you're not a member of those resorts, so it's not like you can just roll up with roll up in your car, get your clubs out of the trunk and just go down to the practice range and just pound balls. You can't do that. It's not going to happen.
right.
You're going to be playing, having those practice facilities for like, first 30 minutes, prior to your tee time. But for those of us that want to improve, want to stay loose and limber. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I'm not, again, I'm doing more than what I had been before, Joe. I think you realize that. I am a little bit more loose and limber. I have been swinging the golf club, which is great, but I'm still going to want to swing the golf club on some of those off days. And I think you're very much wanting to do the same thing as well because, well, we're both kind of golf nuts anyway. And I'm going to want,
I was having a
we're both going to,
conversation today.
we're both going to want to improve upon what it is that we're doing while we're out there.
Yeah, I was actually out hitting balls today and having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I said kind of the same thing, right? When we're on the golf course and you're playing golf, that's it. You're playing golf. We shouldn't be making a lot of swing adjustments. You shouldn't be
No,
thinking about making changes there. That
no.
you have a time and a place for that. the driving range 30 minutes before you're out isn't the time to be making your swing changes. So
No.
we're gonna be, yeah, we're gonna have time. We're gonna be spending time going out and hitting some driving ranges and some facilities and just working on the swing. That's absolutely gonna be part of the routine.
Absolutely, and by the way, there's not just the lights at Indio have practice
Mhm.
facilities, there are other facilities there as well. There are other executive golf courses there as well, pitch and putts with driving facilities, which, by the way, I'm very open for us going out and taking a look at those things, maybe getting some content as well, because at some point, we're not the only golf nuts that are gonna be going out there and doing what it is that we're doing.
For sure.
And we're not gonna and we're going out as non-members of any of these facilities, so if you're gonna want to practice and hit a couple of balls, stay loose and limber, you need to know where these facilities are at, and I think that's something we ought to do. Gosh, but no, the Lights at Indio is a fantastic place. Obviously, we mentioned about the Indio open air market, as well out
Mhm.
there in Indio. That's a fantastic thing to do as well. Gosh, what else do you have here, Joe?
Well, let's actually get into, let's talk a little bit about our, what I came up with is I started putting together a little bit of a master schedule for us. We're going to be out
Mhm.
there for about 4 weeks. And the plan is that we're leaving the end of May and arriving, what is it, the 31st, I believe,
I
of
believe so.
May. And I'm leaving, or 30th of May, and I'm leaving the end of June, something like that.
Correct.
But we're gonna be out there for about 4 weeks total. So I needed to know, or we needed to know, who's aerating, because obviously we're not gonna be able to play that course for that week or a week or two after. You and I will go out and play on aerated greens. We understand that after about,
We
a
know what
week and
it's
a half,
about.
2 weeks, it's grown over. We understand
We
how it
know.
works. I'm not, it's fine. We're not those people, but we're obviously going to plan around that a little bit. So the first week that we go out, well, one of the first things that I took into account was the fact that some of the golf facilities or some of the rental places actually have their own golf cart. And we've mentioned this before. Now, Bob informed me that unfortunately our cart isn't licensed properly to be on the
Correct.
courses. I guess there's a separate licensing for that,
Yes.
but this is something you can check into when you're out there to see if your rental or the people that you're working with have a cart, and if that cart is usable on the PGA West courses, because that's going to save you a cart fee and save you some money while you're out there.
It will make a little bit of a difference. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
But other than that, I mean, the big things that we were looking at was, or big things we were looking at was, what time of day are we going to go out to save money? So right now, with some of the things that I have on here, we're looking at about 1,000 to 1,500 in the golf and entertainment,
Mhm.
and I think that's probably pretty fair for what we're going to be doing.
Most definitely.
Um, and the first one here, we're going to be playing the first week we go out. PGA West is actually going to be doing some of their aerating, and also Shadow Ridge is aerating as well.
Mhm.
So that first week, so that's going to be probably our time to go off property and play some of those courses that the locals are going to be playing. Maybe possibly looking at, and I have here in our list that maybe June 2nd we'll get out and we'll play Silver Rock Resort, and we'll go out in the morning and play that course, possibly play Desert Willow and Indian Wells if we can get on. We have two morning rounds there. They're going to cost us about $200, but Indian Wells, we can play at 4 in the afternoon for a $50 twilight fee.
And it's
And
that
it's gonna be warm at 4 o'clock, but it'll start cooling down a little bit.
it'll cool down by the end of the round and it'll be fine. It's nothing that we haven't dealt with before. It's just how much golf do we really want to play? And I've taken a look at this schedule that you've put together. This is a fantastic schedule. I'm just hoping that my body holds out for all of it, to be quite honest.
Well, and that's the beauty, right? Like I was looking at 3 to 4 rounds a week, right? So this first
And
week
that's
we'll
fair
play,
too, by the way.
yeah.
That's very
This
fair.
first week we're gonna play 3 rounds of golf. We'll play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We're gonna go to the Bear Hunter and have dinner, which is supposedly a
Oh,
just phenomenal
that is
establishment.
is that from
I'm sorry,
now
the Beer Hunter. Sorry,
the
not the Bear Hunter, the Beer Hunter.
Beer Hunter, it's a fantastic place. It's a place where everybody goes. Everybody goes there. In fact, it's in the same plaza as one of my favorite restaurants to have breakfast at, which is the La Quinta Baking Company. And a little known fact, that happens to be one of Phil Mickelson's favorite restaurants. And you can get the Phil Mickelson there, just to let you know.
Well, not only is the Beer Hunter just great, you said you've been there before as well, right? At the Beer Hunter and had a
Yes,
phenomenal
yes.
time.
Yeah, it's a good place. Yes.
It is the Greater Palm Springs Restaurant Week that week as well.
Ooh,
So,
that's
there
gonna
may be
mean
some
there's gonna
bonus
be
stuff for us,
there
in
will
that area.
be.
It's definitely something we need to look into while we're down there is maybe spending some time in Palm Springs that week and checking in some of those as well.
Oh, absolutely. Look, hey, they're in Palm Springs, in downtown Palm Springs. There's a place called Lulu's. It is fantastic. Again, it's one of those places, a diner. It's an upscale type diner, but it has sidewalk seating. Of course, you're in the desert, so it has those misters with the fans. You feel nice and cool while you're out there dining on the sidewalk. No, no, Joe. It's hearing about the restaurant week. That's phenomenal. We are
Yeah,
going to be able to take advantage of that and be able to go to
mhm,
some nicer places that you and I normally would
and save
probably
some
not
money.
walk into, and be able to
Correct.
save a couple of dollars here and there, which is great.
And that's the type of thing, if you're planning a trip out like that, that's the type of stuff you really gotta look into is what specifically is happening during that time because there's some cool, really cool events happening no matter where you're at, right? And
Oh,
communities big or small, there's some really cool events that are happening if you
absolutely.
can look out and find them. So, Bear Creek Trail, if you feel like going on a little hike, it's free. So, we might take an adventure out one day just to take a little hike and take a little walk and just get out and move a little bit.
Hey, I'm open to it, to be very honest with you. Oh my gosh, taking a look at week number 2 here.
Yes, sir.
My gosh, Joe, I am looking forward to, and I'm glad that you have the suggestion of the IV hydration drip because that sounds like it's right up my alley. I am appreciative of that for
So
recovery
I'm
day.
thinking yeah, so I'm thinking, week 1 that was the thing too, right? Like I said, "Listen, I'm 39, you're in your 50s, so we're gonna need some recovery, like, we need to build recovery time
Yeah,
into this."
yeah, we're gonna have
And
to.
that's one of the things I really wanted to plan was, where are those recovery days? So they do have an IV, hut out there, an IV station
Mhm.
place that we can go into. It's 125 bucks if we feel like splurging that day to go out and get an IV drip, that's there as well. And then by that time, aeration should be healing up and we should have the opportunity to get on some of the PGA West courses.
Mhm.
So here's the advantage of finding a place that has your own card. Okay.
Oh, yes.
I said it a couple minutes ago that we potentially could be playing one of the courses at 6 in the morning off property, but it's going to cost us $110 to $115 to do that. Oh, it's going to be a little bit pricier. If you have somewhere that has their own golf cart on PGA West and you're able to use that golf cart on the courses, it's only a $45 green fee at the PGA West Nicholas Mountain course for a 6 in the morning tee time.
That is
So
unreal. That is an
so
unreal.
now they're punching,
Wow.
it's gonna be they punched a week before, they might have to deal with some different things, but, it's a way to save some money, get on and see a course that you might normally not be able to see and save some money doing it. So, now with us not being able to take our cart onto the courses, instead of playing at 6 in that morning, we might be looking at maybe 4 in the afternoon or getting more to a twilight time for that to get out and play that course.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Taking a look at Mid Mountain Falls, we can play mid-morning at
Oh
Mountain
my
Falls,
god,
it's
yeah, I would.
$85.
That's
That's a 9
fantastic.
AM.
Let's see here, you got the Lights at India on Saturday, which is fantastic.
Oh, by the way, there's an event that night. It's the, nightly local party under the stadium lights, so I'm assuming they're gonna have some music and
Ooh,
things going on that night as well.
I'm thinking probably so. I see here, I'm glad that you had mentioned about going to the Shield Date Garden for the date shake. That is a
Yes.
must do. It is kind of touristy, don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but if
We're
you've
still
never
gonna do some of those
you
things,
you
right? We're
you
still gonna go
you
do
have
some of
to.
that.
You have to do that, and having been there, I'll tell you the date shakes are absolutely fantastic. Hey, look, I'm all about the food. You know that. Look, there was a
Yeah.
point in time where I was pushing 300 pounds, my friend, and there was you remember those days, and
Mhm.
I bent over to tie my shoes one day and almost passed out and said, "Ooh, time to lose some weight." So,
But again, second week here, we're taking off that Monday. If we go out and we hike that weekend, we played golf Saturday. Sunday's going to be a day to just kind of do whatever. Monday, we take the day off. We relax. We play golf again Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
that's not bad. That's not a bad schedule, Joe. And
No, not at
quite
all.
frankly, when you're taking a look at some of these golf courses, which by the way, you're not hitting all the long, hard stuff. You're mixing it up here as well, which is fantastic. My gosh, this is going to be wonderful. I'm
Yeah.
glad you
So
did
again,
this.
we're the first 2 weeks here, we're off property the first 2 weeks, which is absolutely fine. It gives us a chance to go out and experience some of the local courses and some of the munis and some of those things that we do wanna play on. Quite frankly, I wanna see what some of those courses look like out there as well. What are these younger
Yeah.
California golfers playing on that, are coming up and kicking everybody's butt right now? I wanna know what their courses are looking like. So, that's week 2 there. Week 3, we're gonna get into some more of the PGA West type places. We're gonna get tacos at Taco Gonzalez,
I've heard
down
of
in
it.
Indio,
I have
which
heard
is
of it.
supposedly delicious. We're gonna do that after we play golf at Indian Wells at the player course, so we'll play a twilight round, and then we can go have a late dinner,
Oh,
which is
fantastic.
gonna be awesome. We'll get to the PGA West stadium course. We're gonna play that in the morning, so we're gonna probably pay the fee because I wanna play the stadium
Mm,
course, prime and cool
yes,
conditions
you
because
do.
chances are it's gonna kick our butt. We might
It
even
will.
splurge for a caddy that day.
It will.
um, and get the caddy out there to tell me where to hit it, and I'll hit it to the opposite spot. I believe the Faudo Institute you told me has been renamed the Ledbetter Institute.
It is.
Um,
Yes.
but it is a short game,
Oh,
basically a
it's
short game institute. Right? Like that's what they're looking at. Silver Rock's getting punched that third week, so maybe we take advantage of that, and maybe we go over and do a little practicing on a Tuesday and do some short game stuff,
hey, I am
and take a
open
look at what
to
they
it.
have to offer.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm open to it. In fact, I'm open to if you wanted to, look, I have not a problem getting a little lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
you and I definitely use it, I can assure you.
Christ, I'll tape it and put it online so the kids can laugh at us.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I have not a problem with it, but you have Indian Wells here. You got, and then
Yes, sir.
week number 4. My
Week
gosh.
number 4 is where we're gonna kinda get locked in. Week number 4 is our last week there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be leaving at the end of the week. You have the ability to stay a little bit longer and hang out with the
Yes.
wife.
Yes, I do.
I will be heading back to reality, to golf on the East
Mm,
Coast.
well, yeah, it is reality. Look,
I'll have another month off before school starts, so, I'm gonna enjoy it, let's be real.
you're gonna have
But this
fun.
last week
The
is
last
the
week
week.
the last week is definitely the week, and you've got some really good stuff in here for us.
So you mentioned already Pete Carlson's, which
Yes,
is, I believe, one of the biggest used golf
it is.
places out there. I mean, I am stoked to get
Yes.
out there. The reason why I haven't brought that up in the schedule yet is because Sunday, June 27th, before I'll be leaving, they actually have their end of summer clearance event. So we will be heading over there and browsing their end of summer clearance event while we're out there.
Oh, that's fantastic, and by the way, don't forget about the used golf ball place that I kept telling you about, and I know that
Yes,
there's
we'll be checking
also
that out as well.
another used club dealer place that I wanna take you as well that you may not be aware of. That's a place, it's kinda, I don't wanna say it's hidden, but it's definitely on the off beaten path, but I'm very well aware of it, and
Okay.
gosh, they've got some good stuff in there, so we will definitely do that and hopefully get some good footage of that as well.
So final week out there, we're playing PJ West. We're gonna play that Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening. This was actually really cool. They're having an event in Palm Springs. It's the Palm Springs International Short Fest. Apparently, it's a $25 ticket that we can go and check out. I think we might do that actually. Play a round of golf in the morning at the stadium course, and then spend the evening watching some shorts and
I
floating
have
around. I think that might be pretty cool.
That is fantastic. How often do you get a chance to do that? You don't. I mean,
Mhm.
for you and I being East Coast boys, it's not often you get a chance to go to some sort of a film festival, if you know what I'm trying to get at.
Correct.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it's just the way it is. But no, I'm going to tell you, Joe, this is a fantastic schedule that has been put together here, and I'm
To be
glad.
changed.
I
TBD.
I'm glad you did it, and at least it gives us
You have a starting point.
a starting point, something to shoot for, and nothing's ever set in stone. You and I both
Mhm.
know that. And when we get out there, there may be an opportunity for us to who knows? I mean, maybe there's a opportunity for us to be able to get out on Mission Hills and be able to play out there.
For sure.
And there's
I'm
some
not
other
opposed to sending an email.
there. Hey,
They can only say no.
there's a lot of people we know, shockingly enough, that might be able to make that happen, but we'll see what happens. But no, I think this is a great starting point for us.
So, in all seriousness, when I broke this down for the month, if you had your own golf court, now this price is going to go up a little bit for us because us not having our own golf cart to be able
Yes,
to take on the course.
yes.
The 11 rounds of golf and the 2 days of practice came out to about $780. So realistically, that might bump up to about a grand. We had the IV drip and the massage in there with the date shake. That's about 230, 240 bucks. And then, you throw in the dining events out and those other events we talked about. It's honestly only about 1,000 bucks
It's not bad.
total.
It's not bad.
So realistically, we're looking at 1,300 to 1,500 bucks plus whatever we're spending on food and gas when we're making meals for ourselves.
It's not bad.
Again, I think it's doable. I think it's going to be a very exciting trip. We're going to be able to play as much golf as we want or as little golf as we want, experience some things we don't get to experience on the East Coast, and have some time to relax and recharge as well. And I think that's exactly what we're looking for.
Well, it is what we're looking for, and the nice thing is that the thing that's not on here is what we're going to be doing in our off time, and our off time is going to
Mhm.
be in the morning time is going to be our morning coffee. It's going to be the breakfast. It's going to be taking a look at the nice view. Yeah, eventually I'm going to have to log in and do some work at some
Yeah,
point in
we're going to be
time.
working.
So that's definitely going to be happening as well. We're going to be filming while we're out there. We're also going to be doing some episodes while we're out there. Hopefully we can do a live event as well
Yeah.
while we're there. That would be fantastic. So there's a lot of stuff
Listen
that
to
we're
us
going to be
sounding like we're
doing.
important.
Well, we're not, but we're kind of thinking ahead as well. But no, the other thing that's missed, the glaring thing that's missing here is pool time. That we
Absolutely.
did not mention as well. And you can spend as much as you want, you can spend as little as you want. Uh, we haven't mentioned about any shopping. In terms of
Right.
of that as well. And out there in the desert, you can. I mean, there's El Paseo Drive. I mean, it's kind of like the El Rodeo Drive of the desert. So you're not talking about small dollar stuff. You're talking about, for you and I, we're going to be window shopping and going, wow, wouldn't that be nice to be able to do that? And
It would be
and
cool to be allowed to walk in that store.
security may come and get us, I'm not sure, but, no, we can do we have the opportunity to do that type of shopping as well. Of course, and again, I'm not saying at that high dollar, that if you happen to be in that bracket, it's there.
If you know where to look,
If you know
right,
where to
there's
look,
gonna be things out
there's
there for
stuff there.
correct.
Any level, it's just a matter of what it is you want to do.
Mhm.
Another golf course that I would love to play while I'm out there, and this is off the beaten path, and you're gonna think, "Why are you wanting to do that?" Joe, and by the way, this is the first time you're hearing it from me. I want you to look in the place called 29 Palms.
Okay,
There's a 9-hole golf course
pulling it up right now.
that is in 29 Palms, and give me a minute here. I might be able to find this really quick here. Just bear with me. And, you wanna talk about a desert
Is
golf
it
course?
Roadrunner Dude?
Yes, yes, that is it. Yeah, you talk about it. I mean, the only for those of you who know about 29 Palms, you probably were in the military at one point in time and have
As
been
I'm reading here,
stationed
there's the
out there.
Marine Corps
Yes,
base. Yes, sir.
yes, yes,
Desert Winds Golf Course is the name of the course.
you have probably have been out there, but, that place looks like it is just barren desert, a potential green with a,
It
area
looks
with a
cool.
flag. It looks different, and honestly, I would like to do that at some point.
Okay,
It's out there past Joshua Tree, which, by the way, since, hey, look, there's gonna be a day that we're not gonna have anything to do, so
add it to the list.
throw the clubs in the trunk. They're gonna be there anyway. Let's go out to Joshua Tree, see some stuff that you probably have never seen before.
I would love to see a Roadrunner.
I mean, you will see a Roadrunner because I guarantee you and I will be playing on the Greg Norman course, and the Greg Norman course has nothing but Roadrunners on it, dude. It is fantastic. Unbelievable. But no, you're gonna have a blast. I know you are. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. It'll be
Do you know
good
what I'm
to
excited for?
playing golf again.
Well, no, I'm
Truly.
excited. I'm excited because it's about that time for your favorite segment.
Mm.
And send it or leave it, Robert.
Send it or layup. Oh my gosh. Joe, for you, for those of you who may not know about Send It or Layup, this is the game show that does not count. However, there will be points awarded for Joe. Joe has one opportunity to answer my questions, and it will be with a send it or layup. If he sends it, he's all in. If he lays up, he's playing for survivability, maybe possibly for his life. I'm not sure. However, with that, Joe, question number one, it is situation number. It's 1 p.m. It's 110 degrees, $40. 6 a.m., 75 degrees, $180. Do you send it, risk heat stroke, or do you lay up and save a little bit on your wallet?
Send it. I'm going to send it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm going to send it at where I am in my life. Like, I'm
Yeah.
okay going out with it being 110 and playing out golf. Now, again, the long-winded answer here is it's going to depend on where we're at and how our bodies are feeling at the end of the day. Are we going to be playing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Probably not. Chances are you and I are probably going to push that time back to 3 or 4 and get more
More
into
than
that
likely.
twilight, right?
Yeah, more than
We'll still get
likely.
our 18 holes in. We're not going to be fighting that.
No.
And it's gonna be a little bit cooler, but again, there's certain courses that we will want to play at peak time
At peak
that we're
time,
gonna want to be
definitely.
fresh for. But then there's other times, and it depends. We know that we're not going to be pushing ourselves as much, right? Like if we know we're going out at 1 in the afternoon, we're not going to be pushing ourselves to play a 4 hour round. It might take us 4.5 to 5 hours to play that round if there's no one in front of us or behind us that's pushing us because we're just not going to push ourselves that hard.
Mhm.
We're going to maintain a pace that's going to be, good for us.
It's gonna be good for us. We're gonna have a lot of ice with us, and, we're gonna take our time, it's
Mhm,
it's just the way it's gonna have to be, but no, I tend to agree with
mhm.
you on that one, most definitely. Okay, Joe, here we are, 140 yards over a canyon. You're at sea level with humidity. Can reach it, but 5% desert humidity, the ball flies 10% further. Do you trust the desert physics, or do you send it with a 3-wood?
Now, you know me, and you already know the answer to
I
this,
already know the
and most
answer.
people that golf with me already know the answer to this. I'm sending it no
You're
matter
going
what,
for
right?
it.
And it comes down to you need to trust the golf swing. Now, if it's competition golf and we've got
Yeah.
some things on the line, if there's other variables in play, obviously that plays into that. But you have to trust the golf swing, right? At the end of the day, you have to trust your golf swing. You have to trust the numbers. You and I both know that we're going to be going out to the range and hitting a bucket of
Oh, yeah.
balls before we go out and play.
Yeah.
We're going to know how far those clubs are flying that day. Chances are we'll probably have the sim with us as well out. So we're going to have an idea of what those numbers look like. We have an idea of how far that ball is going that day and what it's carrying. So it's just, again, it's making the swing and trusting it. You're not going to hit the perfect shot every time. You shouldn't expect to hit the perfect shot every
No.
time. It's playing within your abilities and just trusting your golf swing.
No, I tend to agree with you, Joe. Having played out there a number of times, I will tell you, as an East Coaster, the ball does fly much
Mhm.
differently out there. I will tell you, it was one time I had been out there, a guy had told me, looking for the wind in the air. He's like, I got to club up. I'm like, there's no wind. I mean, for you and I, it's like 20 degrees. Okay, we'll club up, type of thing. But that was totally different. But it's totally different golf out there, and you will find that the ball does fly a whole lot farther than what you're used to. Anyway, okay, final question here, Joe. We are playing under the lights at 10 p.m. at the lights at Indio. You're down 2 holes. You got a tight gap between two palm trees. Send it through the gap, or do you lay up to the fairway?
The
Down
first comment
two,
I have to say, the
down
first comment
two
I have to say,
with two to play.
the only reason I'm down two is because you have a better short game than me. So I'm going to start there because I think off the tee I've got you this year and out of the fairway.
Oh, you do? Yes.
However, in this case, I'm sending it. I mean, I'm going through the gap. I mean, I've got a window. It obviously tells me I have a window, so I'm sending it through the window. I mean, it's a full send all day. It's only going to be more fun to do it over palm trees with the lights. I mean, come on.
It's gonna be beautiful, and when it does happen, you're gonna be like, "This is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life," until you watch the golf ball hit the middle of the palm tree, and it bounces right back in front of you. Gosh, I've actually had that happen to me too, by the way. Oh my
Who
god.
hasn't? Who hasn't?
It's desert golf, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. Look, hey, you're in your 30s, I'm in my 50s. Reality check here. I don't know if my back is gonna be able to do all of what I want to do, and I think we have to be a little strategic. And by the way, I think the way that you have so far, the itinerary has been strategically done very well to keep my lower back in mind, and I
And
appreciate that.
that was honestly, again, like I used, the information I had for the aeration and things like that. And then the question really became, I'm 39, you're in your 50s.
Mhm.
What are we going to do to make sure that we are actually enjoying the trip and we're not hurting ourselves at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I set it up so we have that Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday play schedule. We're going to play a premium rate on the weekends.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is we can play in the afternoon on the weekend if we want to and do a twilight round and then go out to dinner afterwards because the restaurants are going to have, a great service later into the night because we are in the
Yes,
desert, right?
that is true.
So we're playing on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You mentioned the pool earlier.
Mhm.
We have a rent, some of the rentals do have their own pool right at the rental. Ours does not, but we're going to be able to walk right next door pretty much to where the pool is, or take a golf cart
I
to where
think
the pool is.
I think it's 50 feet from the front door is what I
Right.
believe it
So,
is.
but, one of the things we're gonna be able to do is those days when we're not playing golf, we're gonna be going to the pool, just walking in the pool and doing 20 minutes of pool walking as some
My
cardio
god,
and
yes.
some low impact work just to keep our bodies loose so they're not getting tightened up when we're doing something is gonna be huge. We talked about the IV drip. It isn't a spa day, but, we can go get the IV, replace some of those, electrolytes that were,
Correct.
leaking out and, take care of
Correct.
that. I threw a massage in there, why not go spend $100
The
and get a sports massage halfway through the trip or near the end of the trip because those last couple of weeks we're going to start to get a little tight and sore.
I am very much open to it. I know that there was a place where my wife and I had we actually had a membership there, and I wanna say it was Massage Envy was the name of the place, if I remember correctly, that was there, and yeah, it was fantastic. Relatively inexpensive in terms of stuff, and you get that recovery time, which, having played a lot of golf out there, I will tell you that the massages
We're
do
going to
help.
need.
They
Mhm.
help. They actually do help. Which, by the way, I'm hoping you take one. The gun. I hope you bring one along because I know I will actually need to have it. But no, I'm open to doing a spa day too. If you wanted to splurge one day, I have not a problem with that as well. But no, I look. Hey,
I've never had a mani pedi. I'm down. Let's do it.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, the sauna,
The volcanic ash on my face. Yeah, let's do it. A seaweed body wrap. I'm down. Let's go.
I I'm open. We'll see what we can
Listen, we,
find out.
we can go to Hershey when you're back in town and we can do the
That is
chocolate
true.
wrap. I
We could do
mean,
the chocolate wrap. I keep forgetting about that. Oh my gosh. Oh my Joseph.
we're losing it, Robert. We're losing
We
it.
are we are way, way off track. Let's see
So this
here.
is, what we haven't done? This is
We haven't
Wilson
had-
and Warren's
we,
golf.
we have
This is golf with Wilson and Warren's. We
we
haven't
haven't
even
done it.
introduced ourselves or done any of that today. This is how
We
good we
have
are at this podcast thing, folks.
we
This
have
is
no
golf with
idea.
Wilson and Warren's, and yeah, we have no idea what we're doing. You can find us on all the socials at WNW Golf. We have the website up and running. We're going to get the store up and running here shortly. If you do want to get some merchandise and things like that, we're two guys. That's it. We're taking a golf trip. We're going
Two
to have
guys
a great time.
You guys taking a golf trip. We are learning to fall in love with the game of golf again. For myself, it has been many, 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 many years, or at least that's what it feels like. Luckily, I am playing some golf. In fact, Joseph, I just told you I made my first tee time for this coming week,
I am
and
so excited
I'm
for you.
I'm stoked for it. I am going to get some good footage at least. Well, I don't know about good footage, but it'll be footage at least anyway. Some fun footage, I'm sure. Luckily, I do have someone tagging along with me, upon which I need to find out if I'm even allowed to even mention his name at this point. So let me find that out before I do that. But no, I'm looking forward to that. No, hey, look, we're two guys. We don't know what we're doing. We just decided to kind of document this process. And hey,
We're having a great time doing it.
thanks for tagging along with us. And hey, look, we're gonna get some more stuff and material out there and content for you, hopefully on a more regular basis. It's just hey, look, we both have jobs and lives, and we do the best that we can. But no, look, we're appreciative of everyone who's come along so far. For all of you who've subscribed, if you haven't, please do give a thumbs up, like whatever the case may be, and it would definitely help us in the long run, and we're very appreciative of that. Still can't believe people are joining us on this venture. I know it's more than just family and friends at this point in time. To whomever is listening to us in Russian, spasiba. Spasiba. Thank you. Anyway, hey, Joe, it's been fun. It's been a long, long time since we have seen one another, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again here soon. Look, I think you're going to tease next episode.
Well, listen, I think we already kind of went over what that episode. We're going to be shifting from what our original plan was. We're at the point now, I think, just wrapping this up here today with today's episode. We've kind of talked a little bit about what we've in the past and what we're going to be packing now. We've got to kind of plan it is March. That was the eye-opening thing for me. March is almost over at this point. This last month and a half for you and I is
2
just been going crazy.
we have
We're
2
2
months.
months out from the trip, so it is that point where we definitely need to start getting some things together. So that's why this episode to me was it really kicked me in the butt and kind of recharged me. I need to get out playing golf again. I'm hitting balls, doing some lessons with some folks, and I'm going to be getting out on the course hopefully this week to get my first round in and get the handicap established again. That is my
Good for
goal
you.
is to start getting some rounds in and get the
Good.
handicap established again. And I'm doing that. I know you're playing golf now. This whole process has really energized both of us
Yes.
to get back out and play. And the fact that people are hopefully learning and following along and going to be able to use some of this as well is huge for both of us and keeps both of us going. So I think at this point, next episode's really going to be hopefully in the next week or two, we're going to have to sit down and actually start talking about what day to day is going to look like, Robert. What are we going to, what's our time? I think we have, maybe we need to sit down and actually start sending some emails and getting some tea time scheduled and maybe
We're
taking a look at that path.
we are almost at that point where we can start
Mhm.
scheduling some tea times. We have to find out how far out in advance we can do it.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a couple of months, sometimes it's just a couple of
A
weeks.
week or two, right?
So we'll have to figure out that game plan,
Yeah.
because the sooner we can make the tea times, I think the better off we're going to be in the long run. No, it's. I mean, I've come to the realization through this entire process since we've started this, that the type of golf that I once played versus the type of golf that I'm going to be playing is going to be completely different. I've come to the mental realization of that. And for me, that's huge because I was once
And that doesn't
very,
necessarily
very
mean a
competitive.
number either. You're
No,
still
no,
gonna
no,
be
no,
playing
no.
very good golf and
No,
shooting
it's
some
it's
very good
it's still
numbers.
gonna be good. It's just not going to be what my memory remembers, in terms of things. And look, it's just like riding a bike. The first time after 20 years of riding a bike, it's a little unsteady, and eventually you learn to pedal again and get yourself balanced. It's kind of like golf again. It's I got to fall in love with the game again. I'm getting there. I'm swinging the club. I'm looking forward to this week. I'm looking forward to spend a day on the golf course and seeing, number one, if I can survive it. Number two, not have heat stroke and die, and hopefully I don't get bitten by anything I don't want to get bitten by, while I'm looking for a golf ball in the high stuff.
So here is next week's episode. I would like you to you're gonna be playing golf this Thursday. I myself hopefully will be going out and playing golf this Thursday. Not sure if it's gonna be 9 holes or 18. You have it scheduled, it's kind of the same. I know that score may not be the number that you're keeping. I know that you may not be keeping a number,
Mhm.
but what I would like to know is I would like to know tee shots, how many hit the fairway. I would like to know some green and regulation numbers, just some of those small metrics, and make a goal for yourself.
I actually do have a goal for myself, and the metrics I'm actually going to keep two metrics that I'm looking at right now, and it's only because of the fact I still don't have my batteries for my
Yeah,
rangefinder yet.
absolutely.
So keeping in mind that I'm not going to know anything about distance going into the green, so keeping greens in regulation to me just makes absolutely zero sense because I'm just not going to know anything in terms of distances going in. However, I do want to keep track of my greens hit, or I'm sorry, fairways hit. I wanna keep the track of number of putts. Those are 2 big ones.
And chipping. Next week, we're going to talk about the state of the game. It's going to be our state of the game address. I'm excited.